Hey everyone, have you heard the news? We're bringing air service back to the Four Corners Regional Airport. With us today is Airport Manager Mike Lewis. He's going to tell us the lowdown on all the big news you've been hearing about and get ready to book your flights. Because in May, United Airlines is coming. Hey everyone, welcome to the Mayor's Table. We have a great episode for you today. We have our friend Michael Lewis, who is the airport manager at Four Corners Regional Airport, joining us today in what was a postponed episode because we thought good news was coming. And Mike, here we are. It's March.
It's finally here.
We've got great news.
Excellent news.
We've been sharing it broad and wide, and we'll continue to do so. And that's why we're taking advantage of this wonderful long-form interview podcast / video of which you get to be a part and share in what is happening at Four Corners Regional Airport.
Yes, sir. Well, we have made a deal with United Express Service into Farmington from Denver. We're going to start out with one flight a day to Denver with a return in the evening, and it should start off very well. The interest I've heard from the community is exceptional, and finally it's here. As you know, we've been working on this for almost 10 years since the last carrier left. We had a false start in 2020 when COVID destroyed our plans, and now it's coming to us as a reality, and I'm glad we're able to announce it.
Well, you know, it's really timely, Mike, considering that Mr. Know-It-All had just written in the Tri-City Record regarding why Farmington's not been able to get jet service in here, and he actually laid out a very good history of what has transpired for the full length of not moving the airport to the Crouch Mesa area in order to have a longer runway and all those kind of things. But of course, what happened in 2019, we went to sign the MOU, or we did sign the MOU with SkyWest, who is the nation's #1 regional air service provider. They operate flights for United, American, Delta, right? Mm-hmm. They're a big deal. Getting them on board was such a key component because we wanted to strive for the best, and we wanted jet service. We didn't want the prop planes. We wanted to have a bathroom. We wanted that full service component for our people, and I love to go on to one app and schedule a flight that goes from here to Atlanta to go see my daughter, and I don't want to have to jump from one different air carrier to another.
That's right? Absolutely.
So that process played itself out, and it the pilot shortage obviously hurt us as well.
Yes, sir.
But prior to that was the runway itself, which Mr. Know-It-All keyed in on, and what you were able to do, and I say you, and I know there was a staff of people supporting this, but what you were able to do in order to make that runway meet the FAA requirements was monumental. And so I just want to thank you here for that work, because we wouldn't be here today if you hadn't laid the foundation for getting that runway to the safety measures that needed to be made.
That's right. Absolutely. And we also took it a step further, and we overhauled our terminal. Our terminal had been set up to board 19 passengers on Great Lakes and Mesa before them. We were able to get funding to expand the terminal to handle up to 70 passengers. I mean, we're starting this service with a 50-passenger jet. It's the Canadian Regional Jet 200, which is a 50 seats, and we're hoping that the market will build, and maybe we'll see 70-seaters in here at some point in time. So we built the facility to be able to handle that.
Well, we all know, Mike, that for international travelers coming directly into the Four Corners, the Bisti Badlands remains one of the top, if not the top attraction. So for them to be able to fly in from Germany or from London or from wherever, with one stop, coming here.
Right.
That's pretty incredible. Because now they can this will be the hub of their activities. They get their hotel here. Right. They're eating at our restaurants here. They're not having to travel, from Durango down to this area. which is, I mean, it benefits a lot of local businesses.
Sure does, and it allows marketing of the area. Like for an example, the Visitors and Convention Bureau, they can put Farmington on the map, and somebody that isn't familiar with us, like a European or somebody from another country, can see Farmington and match it up. When they see a city like Durango, they see it's in a different state. They perceive it to be far away, whereas conversely in Albuquerque, they think it's close, and it's not. It's 3 hours away. So it really makes it a lot easier, and I think we're going to probably see a lot of traffic with a minimal amount of effort put into marketing. United is certainly going to market the service. We'll be included on all of their media all over the world that we're a part of their network, which is one of the biggest and most prolific airline networks in the world today.
You know, I had something pointed out the other day on Facebook from a friend of mine who tagged me. There's a points guy that has his own blog or some sort of media, the points guy, and he also republished the United media statement regarding them flying out of Farmington, and it just kind of put the headline like, "Hey, United's added a new destination."
Right.
And I think that kind of media push is going to make a big difference.
It sure is. It sure is, and as you know, we're working here locally to really boost our media presence. We're hiring a company that is a very, very detailed company to do advertising, not only locally but also to reach across the country. They have very sophisticated means to monitor where people fly and where they want to go and who's coming here, and they're able to market to them directly. And in addition, they'll monitor their flights. They'll take a look at them, for an example, and if they see a fare out of here to a connecting city that doesn't seem to be competitive with one of the other gateways, they'll talk to United about it, and United will respond or not. It depends on whether,
Sure.
But usually they like to be competitive. They want to pick up all the passengers. They want to keep them on mainline United. And so I think we're really going to put a lot of effort into making sure we get this launched, because that's the biggest thing. I mean, we've got this chance to do this, to get this service to work. I can tell you, if it doesn't work, we're probably in worse shape than we would have been 2 months ago, having lost service.
Yeah.
Due to no fault of ours.
Sure.
When the previous carrier pulled out of Farmington, they were profitable here.
I finally reached the age, Mike, where the fatigue is definitely setting in after a long trip. And we've done enough trips to Florida now where the last 2 times back, I'm like, we can't do this. And what ends up happening, of course, is you have to book another hotel.
Right.
And you don't want to have to pay for that $100
Exactly.
to stay in Albuquerque. But it's what you're going to have to do.
Well, and you also have the issue of parking. You have to park in a park and ride or find some other way. And I've known a lot of people, and I've done it myself, a lot of the decent flights to get places out of Albuquerque are very early in the morning.
Sure.
And I would much rather go down there the night before.
We do that too.
Because you're still getting out there at 7 o'clock in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and again, it's the hassle of parking the car. It makes the trip quite a bit longer.
Man, you're making me really want to fly out of Farmington right now.
There you
'cause
go.
This makes it sound so much better.
Trying to do that.
This
Park
is
your own car, no fee, come and go as you please.
Yeah.
Have somebody drop you off. It is much easier for somebody to drop you off, too. I mean,
That's
just
right.
think about it now. You can't get anybody to take you to Albuquerque for a flight. You can sort of get somebody to take you to Durango, but you can always get somebody in Farmington. It's just the other end of town.
So I want to hit on these other things because, part of the marketing strategy, Mike, with this show is word of mouth. So
Right.
we know that our viewers and our listeners are going to educate their friends and family about
Right.
what you and I are talking about. The benefits, obviously, trips to the Four Corners. We talked about that. It's directly in now, right into Farmington.
Right.
Family. I immediately received an email from a family who said, we've been holding our breath for the last 5 years that we've retired here, that Farmington would start flying again so that we could bring our family directly into our city. That's
Right.
huge.
It is.
Again, quality of life component there, right?
Right.
Attracting professional workforce. I think having a plane that comes right in to where
Right.
the work is happening as opposed to having to commute, that makes a big difference too.
It sure does. And we've put a lot of effort into marketing this area as a great place to retire. I mean, we've got a lot
was
of
my next
benefits
thing,
for
yeah.
retired people. And one of the big questions I think that has kind of held people up is, do you have air service? Because people want to be able to go back and see their family or travel because that's what people do at that time of their life. You're right. I've got family members that are already booked flights. They're ready to come. I mean, it's much easier now, and so they're going to do it.
Well, I think about my family that lives in Denver. When I fly to Denver, if I go to see my family, they've either got to come and get me or I've got to get a rental car. Right? It's
Right.
45 minutes plus to get to their houses
Right.
from there, but it's going to be like 5 minutes to get to the airport from my house here.
That's right.
That's good stuff. Economic development, I don't think you can say enough for the benefits of having jet service inside of your city for economic development.
Absolutely.
It just speaks for itself.
Sure does.
It's gonna help us in a number of different ways. We've got a lot of businesses and private investors looking at San Juan County and the opportunities that exist here now. They're going to be flying directly into Farmington, and it's going to make their jobs easier and hopefully entices them a little bit more
Right.
to make those investments that we need them to
Absolutely,
make.
because truly air service, while it is transportation, from a business perspective, it's a time machine. It's the way that companies can save time. So much so that companies are even willing to charter airplanes in some cases because they need that time. But this gives them the capability to be able to get here quickly, to not have to do all the connections and the rigmarole of renting cars and driving here and driving back and so forth and so on. The other thing is that we made this announcement just a short time ago, just about a month and a half ago, and since then I've received a lot of positive feedback with people looking at the flights. They're finding the flights that they want to take to the places they want to go, and they're finding that the fares are very comparable and very competitive.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the biggest worries that I've heard from people when we've always talked about airline service as well. We hope it's competitive. Well, it is. It's here today to be competitive. And when you add in free parking, you add in the lack of a drive in any direction, it really, really makes it worthwhile for people to choose to fly out of the Four Corners Regional Airport.
Sure. We've got 300,000 people who utilize Farmington. We use this number a lot for services, for business, for those kind of things. And, we've talked about this, from the very beginning when we were talking to SkyWest. This is an added service for those 300,000 people. We know that Durango Airport's, La Plata Airport's there, and they offer a number of flights each day. This is an addition to that, and it's gonna improve air service from the Four Corners. I mean, that's what it's doing.
Right.
And it's going to attract travelers who are going to go to Albuquerque,
Right.
who are going to use this because it will be closer for them. Just think
That's
about
right.
all of our friends, to the west of us, and how far they still have to go if they want to go to Albuquerque, if they
Right.
want to go to La Plata Airport. So this is an addition to that. It's going to give us another option. But Mike, here's the issue. We've worked hard to bring SkyWest to the table, and they have stuck with us over these years since COVID. But it's going to be up to the community to make it happen, right? I mean, people have to book it. They're going to have to use the service, or the service won't stick around. So
That's
we've got a
exactly
2-year contract right now with SkyWest. Tell us a little bit about how that's going to play out.
Well, the contract is set up to be a risk-sharing contract. In other words, the carrier says, we believe there's incredible potential in the market, but we would like, and you as a community believe there's potential. We would like to share that risk. So we have been able to secure some state and federal grants that allow us to share the risk by doing what the carrier was asking for, which was to just break them even. If at the end of the first month of service, if we can just make it so that they break even, they're willing, ready, and able to continue towards that day when it becomes solidly profitable. So I think it's a great deal. Our agreement involves no local taxpayers' money. It's all state and federal grants that come out of funds that are related to aviation. And we see this as just the only way to really get it launched. Our commitment to SkyWest in our contract is, to give you some relativity, is about $3.9 million for 2 years. Or I'm sorry,
6.9.
6.9 for 2 years.
There you go.
So it's a little over $3 million per year.
Right.
Where on the other hand, for an example,
But again, that's only if we have to pay.
that's only if we have to pay.
So
It's
that's the key.
That's right. It's not being paid to the carrier. It's
If
available.
we're filling the 50 seats a day, we won't have to
We
pay.
don't have to pay anything.
Yeah.
That's our dream, of
That's
course.
the dream.
But to give you an idea, I mean, it's very difficult to attract a carrier to come to your community. And you look at the competition, and I look at Sholo, Arizona, which was just awarded an essential air service subsidy contract that we don't qualify for. And that carrier is going to be flying a 30-passenger jet to Phoenix, which is a shorter distance than Denver.
It's a half-hour flight.
Exactly. And they're going to get paid $6.5 million a year. So that gives you a feel for what the competition is
Sure.
out there for air carriers to come to your community. So I think we really got a good deal, a good realistic deal that is good for both sides, and we get to share the risk. So from our perspective, we're sharing the risk knowing that our community is going to back us up
Yes, they are.
and buy those tickets and get their friends to fly in and use this service. Also, very openly admitted, the carrier admitted, if this flight does well, we'll look at what we need to do to put more flights in. There is no end to what they'll do if the market will support it.
That's right.
That's all they're
It's up
looking
to
at.
us. If it's to be, Mike, it's up to me.
That's right.
And I think that is the key. And I've had obviously a number of questions. We've already addressed, why Denver, 200 direct flights out of Denver, no stops to go to these, 14 different
14.
countries. And that's a big deal. Phoenix continues to come up like, well, are we going to fly to Phoenix? Well, look, if this flight works, there's opportunity there for that to happen. I mean,
Right.
that's what we're working towards.
Right. It could be Phoenix. It could be Texas. It could be a number of other places. It's where the market seems like it needs to go. We have detailed market information about the purchases that people have made in this entire Four Corners region, and we will keep track of the purchases that they make in the future, and that will help determine, when the carrier decides to put and where the carrier decides to put another flight. So
Sure.
we've got all the data. We can feed it to them as long as it looks right. I'm positive they're ready to do it.
So I want to clarify, though, for everybody here, we are not setting the rates for these flights.
No.
We are not picking destinations. All of this is data-driven information that the carrier is going to use on where to go, what to charge, and all those things. And obviously, it benefits to have competition here locally between airlines, so to speak,
Right.
carriers, because that will help keep those prices competitive. And that's what we want. And I think everything we've seen, at least what I've seen online, it's been thus so far. So
Right.
hopefully it stays that way. But again, the first flight is going to be coming in from Denver on May 8th.
That's correct.
That's the night of May 8th, so people know it's a 5:55 a.m. flight. Now, this can change. Disclaimer, all these things are subject to change. We don't set the times either, but as we know what's right now, I have booked a flight at 5:55 a.m. on May 9th
Right.
to fly to Denver.
Right.
And then I've booked I think it's an 8:30 flight
Right.
from Denver back home
right.
later that Sunday. So that's where I'm going to be, in case anybody wants to come with me.
There
I
you
know
go.
there's a lot of folks here in town who've actually already booked that
Yeah,
May
I-
9th flight.
I actually think that first flight's going to be full.
Yeah,
The first
and
departure.
I'm going to be excited. It's
Yes.
going to be early for a party, but I'm going to be down to party that morning, I'm sure. Yes. I don't know, Mike. What else?
Well, I mean, we're just going through the process of setting everything up. We've had a lot of various entities from United come and visit the community to look at the terminal facility and get all the logistics set up. The operator, SkyWest, has sent a lot of their people. It won't be much longer before they'll be here doing what construction they need to do within the terminal to set up their signage and all of their kind of things. This is going to be almost like a mainline United city. I mean, they're going to have everything.
Yeah.
You'd think you're walking into any mainline United city across the country. And so our community will be able to enjoy that
Yeah.
full service.
Well, I know we'll be up there doing our little things that we need to upgrade that facility to. Even it is prepared, obviously, but I was up there recently, and there's some signs in there that have been around a long time in that
Some of
that
those
terminal.
businesses are gone.
Yeah, I know.
Well, we haven't had a carrier. We just kind of let it sit and
That's
didn't
right.
want to spend any money doing anything until we know what we're doing. And
We have some really great signage, though, that I know can be created out of certainly the last 5-6 years of all the things going on here in this community. And
Yep.
Mike, I just have to tell you, I mean, the initiatives that we've kicked off to diversify this economy, to make this an attractive place for businesses, for people, the airport and the airline that's going to be serving this community is probably going to be worth the wait, in my opinion. I know it's been hard for a lot of folks, and I think a lot of people had actually given up hope.
Yep.
I had a number of conversations with folks like, why are we still even trying?
Right.
But we believed in it.
Right.
You believed in it.
Right.
And I just appreciate your steadfast, determination to see this come through.
Stay after it every day. Yep.
Yeah, and there was no stopping. Even when I was like, let's just pick one of these other ones and let's let them fly. You all kept everything right in line, and now SkyWest is coming. They've already got they've got positions online. If you're looking to work here in the
That's right.
airline industry, there are. Or I should say United, or so do we call them United? SkyWest. They've got positions online ready to come to Four Corners Regional
Yeah,
Airport.
it'll be SkyWest as the operating carrier, so it'll be a SkyWest company, and that's who would employ those people. Also, too, I assume that TSA will be doing some advertising for a few positions. They usually advertise their positions on the government website.
Okay.
It's,
Good to know.
it's nothing done locally. It's all from the federal level, so people can go there. They can, if they're interested in SkyWest, they can go to skywest.com and follow the, down through their process on their website to find the employment opportunities. So.
Okay. And then to our hotels out there, we're going to need shuttles. We're going to need,
Yep.
we got to have shuttles to get people to and from the airport to hotels for
Well,
the
and-
crew and the pilots and everybody too.
Right, because we're going to have crew members spending the night. The airplane will come in late, the crew member will go to the hotel, and needs to be back out here bright and early in the morning to make that departure.
Yep.
So,
It's fun. It's interesting, just all the little things that have to come into play.
Not kidding.
It's not just a simple,
right.
the airplane's
just
coming.
Right.
Yeah,
Airplane's coming, everybody come out.
That's right. It's going to be a
more
whole
than
different
that.
world.
Absolutely.
Well, Mike Lewis, I appreciate you, and I know you'll keep us updated on things as it goes along, and
Absolutely.
maybe we'll have a mayor's table from the runway
That'd be good. That's right.
the morning of the first flight out.
Right.
But anyways, I'm excited. I know this community is excited, and we're just hold our breath till May.
All right. Sounds great.
All right. Well, thanks again for joining us. Thank you,
Thank you.
for joining us today as well. Again, this is a monumentous moment. Did I double up on there? Momentous moment for our community, bringing jet service. It's been a long time since jet service too.
That's right. It's
We were
been
kind of
since
in and
the
out
80s.
of that. 80s.
Yes, sir.
Can you believe that? It's just
Absolutely.
wild what happens with regulations and
That's right.
how it can have an impact on regional airlines or airports. So share this information with your friends and family. For anybody who's living abroad and you want to make sure they get in to see you, this is the summer to bring them in. Book your flights now at united.com or any of the other places
Right.
that you book your flights. I've already done it. I'm looking forward to it, and I know you will enjoy it as well. So thanks for tuning in today on the Mayor's Table. We'll see you here next time.